Mr. Multiverse back at it again with the phenomenal Emma Roberts.
Emma
Kubert. Oh my God. We're great, off to a great start. For some reason, whenever I hear Emma, I hear that actress.
Oh, no worries. I think Emma Roberts, Emma Stone, Emma Thompson, Emma Frost. Like, there's a lot of Emmas out there.
I'm so sorry.
No worries.
We're off to a great start.
No worries.
Okay, so I guess the big question is, since you are from the Kubert tree, does that, and this is going to sound weird, does that intimidate you as an
You know,
that you might live in the shadow of like Adam and Andy?
You know, yeah. I mean, like, that's honestly why it took a little bit of time for me to like be accustomed to comics. Like, when I was very young, I've always loved art, any kind of art, whether it was drawing or performing or music or whatever it was. I loved it. It took a while for me to go to comics, and it was simply just because, one, you know, it's my family, it's a huge part of the industry, so it's like, if I'm gonna choose comics, I have to make sure that's my 100% path in life and goal. And, you know, I went to Savannah College of Art and Design for animation. I went there for 2 years, and then I realized I gotta go home, I gotta go to the Kubert School, I gotta draw comics. So I came back to it, basically.
I mean, you do phenomenal work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, here's an interesting question that you're going to be the first artist I ask this question.
Oh, okay.
So, as all artists, there for comics or whatever or what have you, there's always characters you like to draw, and then there's characters you're like, I never want to do this character again. Which is like, what's the best one? You're like, I can't wait to draw that one again. Never show me that character again.
Okay, I definitely have an answer for this.
Okay.
All right, so I love drawing redheads. I'm not gonna lie. All the redheads, Batgirl, Phoenix, Mary Jane, all of them, because obviously, but also Batgirl is one of my favorite characters. Jean Grey was also my favorite character growing up as well. But something that I never want to draw again is a Transformer. I never want to draw Transformers again, and I love them. I think they're really cool. Whoever artist works on Transformers, like, they need to be paid so well, because it is so intricate and so crazy and so mechanical that I just like admire anyone who does that.
Yeah, that's actually that's a phenomenal answer. I was expecting, like, I don't know, like Dr. Octopus or something.
No,
the Transformers. That does make a lot of sense. Like, because all your characters are very like this human, very fluid.
Yes.
Whereas the Transformers are these just massive forms.
Exactly. Like, whenever I have to draw anything mechanical, like, I like doing it and I like tackling it, but it is a little bit of a challenge for me, just because, like, the fantasy, the fluidity is a little more natural for me. So, like, giving me a giant metal man to draw, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would find a better artist for that.
Yeah, that's a fair answer. So, what were like some inspirations for you as an art, like growing up, like when you started to do art series, like take it in more? What were like some inspirations for you growing up and like maybe even now?
Well, I grew up on animation. Like, I absolutely loved animation. I went to school for animation, and you know, I dived into, you know, like the 9 Old Men of Disney, and Glenn Keane, of course, is like the top animator. So that was really probably the most influential when I was younger, but one of my favorite artists is actually Glenn Keane's daughter, Claire Keane.
Oh, that's an amazing.
And she did like a lot of the art direction for Tangled and Frozen, and like her children's illustrations are absolutely beautiful. She used watercolor and everything. So that kind of art was always the kind of art that I grew up. Same with like Alice in Wonderland pen and ink drawings by John Newell, you know, like all of that kind of stuff. So when I was going into comics, it was kind of like I needed to learn how to merge like the comic side of things with the stuff that I liked. And when I started to go to the school, I was really looking at Frank Miller's work, and specifically for the storytelling and the composition. So I was looking at a lot of his work. Obviously, I was looking at my family's work.
I mean, it's hard not to.
It's hard not to. But I was also looking at old creators as well, like Alex Raymond and Alex Toth are some of my favorite artists as well. I know we have Milton Caniff is another one. Barry Windsor Smith is like, oh my gosh. Yeah, and then Wallywood, you have John Byrne, of course. So it's just, you know, all of those guys are the ones that I really took to when I started to study comics and go into this field. And their work is just absolutely stunning. And if I could do like half of what they can do, it's like I feel good, you know?
One last question before we go, because I don't want to eat up too much of your time. As an artist, you know, there's always this thing of legacy that you know, with artists and writers and, you know, creators in general. What are you hoping your legacy to be?
You know what? I think like I have aspirations, I have goals for like my own career, but I think the biggest thing that I want to do is introduce people that aren't familiar with comics, or they're looking to get into comics, or their kids, you know, looking up to this kind of career and trying to bring them into the industry. That's honestly my biggest goal with my career, is bringing new people in. Just because, you know, like this industry is so fun, it's so exciting, there's so many different avenues to it, and I know so many people would like it. I don't want it gate kept anymore. I want it open to more and more people, and yeah, that's about it.
Thank you so much. I love that answer.
Thank you. I appreciate the interview.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too, of course.